Here we are again every Monday at 9 p.m. Italian time, 8 p.m. British time, and we welcome all of you, all the people who are going to watch us live and those who are going to watch later on as they cannot right now. It is always a real pleasure to be here on this beautiful Facebook group and reconnect with you every week. So hi again, and this week we are going on with our topic about sacred waters, healing waters. A topic that we have been researching, studying for a very long time, and that we really love talking about with our audience. All right, so we are seeing the first people connected. Hi, and tonight we are going especially to look at some of the special sacred and healing waters we have met throughout our research and our travels around special places of energy. So last time we went through especially about what vibrational waters are, and how some researchers have found out about these waters. But tonight we are especially going to underline the places where we can find these special vibrational waters. Of course, if you have any questions while we are talking, anything you want to tell us and share, yes, we are here ready and very happy to answer. So I think we can start. We have already people connected, and I think we can really start with these sacred waters, healing waters.
So here we are again on this presentation, and starting this time from Sardinia, which we left the last episode. This is the spring water, the spring natural spring waters of Sugologone, which is really an incredible place.
Yes. Okay, Enrico, I just want to underline one thing before you go on
of course,
with explaining about this amazing place, which is Sugologone, that Sardinia is a very, very old island. It is one of the fourth oldest places on Earth, and for this reason, the energy that this island transmits is really very, very high in vibrations. So when you actually walk on this island, you can perceive this high vibrational energy. And for this reason, we can find lots of places with very high vibrational energy. And some of these are natural, like the spring of Sugologone, but some of them were actually built by the ancient civilization that lived on the island in the Neolithic time. So we have two different kinds of vibrational waters, and this one is natural.
This is an incredible place, just beneath a very high mountain, a mountain really rich in speleological caves. It is a peculiar kind of rock which can be eroded easily by waters. And actually, Sardinia nowadays doesn't have so much surface water, but it's still rich in subterranean water. And this whole mountain, called the mountain of Supramonte, is like a giant sponge. Thanks to these peculiar rocks which can be eroded, a lot of times of years and years ago, water started to erode this mountain from the top, but especially from inside. And all the rains that is coming during the winter created a lot of thousands of channels inside the mountains, and caves and tunnels. So this mountain is really rich waters. The whole mountain is a sponge that just release waters during summer. So it was a sacred area also in the Neolithic, Bronze Age times of...
Yes. And while you are saying this, Enrico, the idea of having so much subterranean waters give us actually an evidence, if you like, that the island is so high in vibrations, because there is a lot of subterranean water, and water actually gives a lot of energy to a place, and at the same time
it creates movement.
Yeah, it creates movement, and so it energizes the whole island. And at the same time, we have a lot of rocks, because it's really an island with a lot of rocks, a lot of huge mountains as well. And this, again, because the rocks are really vibrant and alive, they give this special energy, they contribute to give this special energy to the place.
This natural spring, also in summer, gives out thousands of cubic meters of water. So it's really a huge cave. They found out scientifically that waters pass at least 2 weeks inside the mountains when entering the mountain from a particular cave. It passed 2 weeks at least in order to go out here. Also, the caves and tunnels are very deep. They tried to discover the origin of these tunnels, and they did a speleological research with a technical diver, and one of the major greatest champions in diving here in Italy, and he managed only to reach 115 meters length of the tunnel from here. He also reached minus 15 meters below sea level. So this cave actually starts from a mountain, it goes down below minus 15 meters, so below the sea level from the mountain, before going upwards again.
But they have never really reached the very bottom.
Never.
Yeah, which is quite amazing.
They should use robots, because For a human, it's totally impossible to reach the end of this tunnel, because to dive these 115 meters, actually the dive lasted for 5 or 6 hours, because it's a very technically advanced dive. In altitude, you need special tanks for the oxygen. It is it's very difficult for pressure, so it's impossible for a human to reach those depths. The water is incredibly energized.
And also incredibly crystal clear, which if you think that is so deep, and although that it is really, really crystal clear, as you can probably see through these lights, but actually they do not really convey the magic of these waters. You know, they're so crystal clear, especially when you go there and the sun gets into the waters, reflects into the waters.
The picture you are seeing now, the waters are already 15-20 meters deep, and you can see the bottom of this point, actually. So, incredibly crystal clear. Properties of the waters are very spiritual, because it's 100,000 Bovis scale energy emission, and it's a 0-0 polarity. So as soon as you touch it, you will have an incredible charge of energy, and it will take just moments for you to balance the whole aura and the whole chakra and meridian system. It's very powerful.
Talking about this unit that we are using now to tell you about this special water, the vibration of this water, we are using the Bovis unit, and think that when things are fine, the energy of a person, of a food, you just need 6,500 Bovis units, and here we have 100,000
Bovis unit scale.
So it's really very, very high. You can really think about the difference. So actually, some of the waters of Sardinia are really very powerful, and of course this can be used for your healing and balancing, using the method explained by the researcher Enza Ciccolo. We talked last time about this biologist who rediscovered the properties of these vibrational waters, and she gives actually a kind of a method to use these waters, using the cycle of the moon, because the moon is connected with the rhythm of the waters and of our inner waters as well. And so if you follow a 28 days cycle, using the water, drinking the water 4 times a day, and 4 times again is connected with the moon, which has 4 phases during the monthly cycle. And so in this way you can give the same kind of vibration of the water you are drinking to your body, same kind of frequency. Again, here we have a beautiful picture.
Yeah, it's an incredible picture. As you can see, the sun is filtering inside the well, making these white rays, and the water is so clear that that fish seems just flying
really
around.
to float. Yes, it really seems to float. And of course, we are saying hello to the people who are watching, like Mariella, welcome, and Juicy, and Marisa, Evie, hi. We are very happy to see you here. Yes, it's really amazing to see how this fish seems to be floating, almost flying in the water. And of course, there is a spring water, and so you can go there and carry this water with you.
This is drinkable water, even if the tunnel goes 15 meters below sea level. This is drinkable, so the tunnel is totally isolated from salty waters of the sea. Here actually we are deep inland Sardinia Island, so we are very far from the coast, and probably that's the reason why it's still drinkable. It's just pure rain water, filtered, energized, clarified, and purified by the mountain.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, okay. Go on. Yes, and now we are actually flying towards another place we love very much. And those who follow us know very well that we love the Canary Islands. And there we also find some spectacular, amazing healing waters. Right. In the Canary Islands, we have a special event happening, phenomenon happening, climate phenomenon, which allows these waters to be really special. It's one of the reasons why these waters are so special. So, what is it, Enrico? What is this special phenomenon happening in those islands?
Actually, in this area of our sea, our huge sea between Europe and America, there's a dominant wind coming from the northeast, and this dominant wind, also thanks to the heat generated by the sun, will carry a lot of humidity. So the sun will just make the seawater evaporate to make clouds, and the winds will bring all this humidity to the Canary Islands. The Canary Islands have some of them are very high, mountainous. Tenerife reaches 3,518 meters high. Gran Canaria and La Palma are reaching 2,200 meters. And these clouds that actually evaporate from the sea have a peculiarity because of the oxygen, special atmosphere there. They cannot go higher than 1,500 meters. So when the wind carries these clouds, and the wind just encounters those islands, very high islands, the islands are, let's say, like walls. They will intercept all these clouds. The wind will climb the island and go past the islands, but the clouds will be stopped by the mountains. And so all the northeast sides of those islands are like are gathering place for all these clouds. Between 800 meters and 1500 meters. So you have a lot of areas, like as you can see from these pictures on the right, the Mar de Nubes, which means in Spanish language the Sea of Clouds. Gathering on the side of the islands. And when you live here, when you go there on the sides of the islands, you will meet all these water particles suspended in the air, and the wind is carrying them over. So they actually are calling this phenomena the horizontal rain, because all these water particles suspended in the air are moving horizontally thanks to the wind, and you have horizontal rain.
Yes.
All these waters are, of course, hitting all the forests, which are abundant here in Tenerife, La Palma, and Gran Canaria, and the leaves of the plants are just gathering all these horizontal waters all the times. Gathering really all these water, transforming air into water.
And carrying that water all along the trees, and then down to the ground, and then to springs as well. And you see that this sea of clouds creates a spectacular phenomenon. It's really, really quite an emotion to watch it, actually.
So we, let's say, baptize the Canary Islands water with this name, which is Heaven's Waters, because they really are not spring waters, but waters coming from the sky, from the heavens.
Yes.
They have a very strong characteristic as light waters of light, as Enrico was calling those special energy.
So here you see another beautiful picture of this phenomenon. Yes, as Enrico was just saying, we call them, we like to call them the heavens waters, because they also come from the sky, you know, and the sky merges with the ground, the soil, with Mother Earth. So it's a beautiful connection and unity.
Yes, these waters gathered by the leaves of the trees will pass through the volcanic rocks, like those passing through the mountains in Sardinia of Golugone. Those waters will be filtered, enriched a lot, thanks to the minerals that are inside volcanic rocks, and they will purify themselves, charging themselves energetically, reaching incredible characteristics.
And a very high vibration, of very, very high vibration. So these waters of the Canary Islands are, according to our research, probably the most, the strongest, the highest in vibrations that we have found so far, of course. Really very powerful.
Mariella was asking about the other characteristics of Sugologone waters, and those are works on all the aura and all the chakras. rebalancing everything, and especially they are transformative waters because they are very deep.
So they really
deep,
help to transform
your energy.
yeah.
But it's like but actually they are like I'll make a comparison with crystals. It's like a quartz crystal. It works on everything. Yeah, it can be used to balance all the chakras,
and of course all the organs as well, because each organ has its own vibration, so it will help to rebalance all the organs.
Yeah. And as I said, water of Sugologone actually is born from rainy waters collected by the mountains. Here in Tenerife, La Palma and Gran Canaria, water are coming from the clouds. So they are clouds born. They are not spring waters coming from underneath soil.
And then, as Enrico was saying, they round down all the rocks, volcanic rocks, and they are collected either by the trees or by some special ponds. Here we have another view.
Yeah, yes. Here we are exactly 1,500 meters above sea levels, and we are entering with the car inside the sea clouds. The clouds of sea clouds. Yes. The characteristics of waters in the Canary Islands instead are more spiritual because they come from high above, and they are really they pass a lot of time suspended in the air, so they are very high in energy. They works a lot on the 6th and 7th chakra, actually. But we have especially Barranco dell'Infierno.
Yeah, yes. We have to say that anyway, because the energy is so high, of course they work on four different levels simultaneously. So the physical one, the emotional one, the mental one, and the spiritual one. And so when you try a treatment with such waters, it depends really on what you need most, and the water will work on what you really need. And the water of this Barranco dell'Infierno is very high, of course, in vibration, and this is a spectacular place. You know, there is a route, there is a path.
It's gathered by this enormous gorge, which is almost 100 meters high.
Yeah, beautiful gorge, as you see, with a very lush vegetation, and it's really a beautiful walk, you know, really amazing, with vegetation that changes so much, you know, it depends on the altitude. You see some of the water there, some of the ponds, and here there's the waterfall, because at the end of this path you reach this waterfall, and the waterfall creates a pond, and the water there is really powerful, really amazing. It's one of the highest waters we have found so far. Because you see there is a waterfall, and so because of the waterfall, the water has a lot of movement, you know, and so the vibration goes higher and higher because it gets charged, really.
The more the fall is high, the more the water will be charged.
And of course it's a place that it's protected, so there are not many people who can go there, and for this reason the water can keep a very pure vibration.
It's a natural resource.
And these waters, of course, can always be reproduced as Ensacicolo has taught us. So you can actually carry a little bit of water, and then just to remind you, you can pick up 9 drops. The relation is 9 drops, the rapport is 9 drops with 1 liter of mineral water, and then you leave this water, this liter of water, for 24 hours in the light, not direct light, but anyway open air, and after that the water will get the information of the 9 drops.
Hi Rebecca, and you?
Oh, hi! Again here, very nice to see you here. Yes, and then we have the water called Pozo della Salud, and that means the well of health. Yes, because this water is so special that is actually acknowledged and recognized officially. And so there on the island of El Hierro, a small island, part of the 8 islands of the Canary Islands, there is a place, a hotel, where you can go and follow a special schedule in order to purify your body, because this is an amazing water that can help to purify all of your organs. And for this reason, it is really officially used therapeutically.
It was discovered in the 17th century because of epidemic which was spread all over the island, and it killed a lot of men, women, and animals. But actually all the people living near this area that was drinking this water for living day by day, actually they never took the disease. They
were not infected.
They were not infected and survived easily. So the medical teams and researchers of those times asked themselves why it happened, and they found out that actually it was the properties of the waters that kept them alive and healthy.
So it is really an exceptional, amazing water.
Those were British medical teams, because at those times the Canary Islands were already used by British people for health purposes, to sunbathe, to have to restore health and various kind of diseases. And these properties of the waters were covered soon. And as you can see, this is Spanish, of course, but these waters obtained the gold medal during the exposition of Seville in 1929 because of those properties.
Yes.
It is recognized as medicine waters, thanks
healing,
to the mineral.
yes.
In the 1844, and here you have all the properties of the waters.
So it can help our digestive system.
Yeah.
It can help for our skin. It can help if you have problems
with your skin.
Yeah, and with your bones, and also
for the rheumatic system.
Yes, rheumatic system.
For your lungs.
for our lungs, yes. And so it has a lot of healing effects. And if you actually want to get the best out of this water, the best thing is to go there for at least 3 days. And you have two kinds of treatments. One is by drinking this water, and the other one is by having a bath early in the morning before having breakfast. You have a bath, and the water in that case is also merged with water from the ocean, and you have a bath for about 20 minutes. It is a very, very hot bath. And then they give you a herbal tea to drink. And after that, you lie down for 20 minutes, half an hour, with a blanket. And in this way, you can really get the best out of this water.
Here it says that it also has properties on the central nervous system, especially anti-stress, and also on the gastrointestinal tract for purifying all the digestive systems, and on the cardiovascular apparatus. So for the
for heart circulation, and it has a very important effect also on our nervous system, so that you can really get a very deep relaxation. So it is very good if you go under a period of stress, and then you go there and help you.
The results of these studies has been presented on various congresses of medicine in various cities along the various times, along the years, during the years.
It's really very special. And we have tested it vibrationally speaking, because these of course are chemical surveys, but from that point of view, energetical point of view, the energy is really amazing. I cannot use any other word, but amazing, really a beautiful vibration, so that it can be also used on a more subtle level. But anyway, the effect on our body, our physical body, is really very, very strong. So it is a very good practice if you can go there and you know, like once a year, and have a purification.
These properties of the volcanic stones, which can purify and enrich waters, has been always used since farming times in the Canary Islands. As you can see, this is a destilladera, a distiller, natural distiller. As you can see from the picture, they carved a very large volcanic rock, very thick.
Really
inside,
thick.
yes, inside this stone, there's an hole, a receptacle for waters. So you can use, you can put the waters inside this stone, and the waters will pass through the volcanic stones, usually drop by drop, and they just stay there for weeks, usually. And you can collect the waters down below this natural distiller. And actually, we found out energetically that totally normal water becomes a light water, a water of light, a frequency water, which has healing properties just by passing through this basalt rock.
And so yes, the water so becomes vibrational. It has a vibration about 20,000 Bovis units. So it is very good to be used every day, because some of the waters, it is better when they are very strong, like the water of the Barranco dell'Infierno or the water of the Pozo della Salud. So it is better to use them in cycles, you know, to, as we were saying, to purify your body, to enhance your energy, vital energy. But this is actually water that you can use daily. You can use it to drink. You can use it, you know, to wash, to get washed, and to have a bath, a shower, to wash your hair. And it is very, very good to use it daily, because it is not too strong, but it is anyway vibrational. And so it adds really a value to your daily life, you know, and it keeps your energy vital, strong, and yeah.
As the name says, Pozzo della Salud means the health well. So you can really extract health from that well. Use it for a living.
So you see that talking about this volcanic stone that was used daily in the houses of the Canary Islands, of the inhabitants of the Canary Islands, you can see that they had found a way to keep healthy, you know, in a very natural way. Right, and here actually we are going to see a place where we have a spring water, and the place used to be a very sacred area. And many times we have, in sacred sites, we have sacred water, because purification was always a very important part of all the holy rituals of ancient. So this is a place, Canary Islands, that was used as a sacred place by the natives before the Spanish conquered the island. It's a place that we have already shown sometimes, filled with petroglyphs. So, yeah, very beautiful, in a beautiful forest. And here we have a picture of this fountain that we find there. And it is actually at the very beginning of this forest, before we reach the area of the petroglyphs. And so we can imagine the people there reaching the place and having a moment of purification before entering the sacred place. So still nowadays, in our ritual, Catholic or Muslims, we have a moment of purification before we enter the sacred place, and this actually derives from very ancient rituals of the past.
These waters especially works on our reproductive system, because actually this site is connected a lot with fertility. So here we can really see the symbol which Mariella was talking about earlier. Water represents actually life, fertility, and spiritual healing. Especially on this site, it was a lot connected with fertility, because all the petroglyphs we can find here in the Zarze Zarzita site are most of them are curvilinear shaped. So we have labyrinth shaped petroglyphs, we have circular shaped and concentrical circular shaped petroglyphs. So all these geometrical shapes reminds us of the path of waters going down our territories to shape rivers. It can remind us of drops of water falling on a lake, making concentrical circles, and other shapes like the labyrinthic shape, which is a very inward symbol connected to our depth. And so
yes, and Rebecca is asking how old are the glyphs. These glyphs can be in between 800 1000 AD mostly.
Yeah, yes. But actually in La Palma we have the oldest petroglyphs in the whole Canary Islands, which are in another site, not this one, but of course we know for sure that in La Palma petroglyphs have started to be drawn as soon as the 5th century BC.
Yeah, so more or less.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, some can be
older, some can be
yeah, newer,
earlier,
yes. Of course, it is not easy to give a precise date because it is impossible to date
the
rocks. Yes, but comparing it with the civilization, the age of the civilization that lived on the island, more or less, we can have a period going from the 5th century BC until 1000, even 1400 AD.
Actually, this place in La Palma is a very receptive place for waters. So it is one of the most abundant, one of the places on La Palma where you have the most abundant waters. So it is connected to fertility, to abundance. Abundance of waters means abundance of life. Because you can survive, many people can survive if you have a lot of waters.
And of course, water was always worshipped, because without water we cannot live. And so many civilizations, if not all of the ancient civilizations, really worshipped waters. And here we have some pictures of these beautiful that we find there. Sistine Chapel, as it is called, the Sistine Chapel of petroglyphs, because there are so many, they are so beautiful.
These are the labyrinthic shape petroglyphs. As you can see, they are very similar to the Chartres pattern, Chartres cathedral pattern in France.
And actually, the energy you breathe there, you feel there, is so subtle, and at the same time so strong. You really feel it, and when you are there, you just wouldn't go away from that place. You feel so good, really so good. For us, it is one of the most energetic places we have actually seen our research, our trips. And this is a special tree. This used to be on the island of El Hierro. Again, we are going to the island of Hierro. And the tree, this tree is called Garoe tree. And the tree we have nowadays is not the original tree, because it was unfortunately cut down by the Christians when they conquered the island, because it was of course, used by the natives, and the natives by the Catholics were considered pagans, and so they decided, because it was a sacred tree, giving a lot of water to the population of this island, it was cut down. So you see that sometimes really the conquest of you know, the new world was actually really very heavy, you know.
As you can see, this
terrible.
As you can see, this valley is very receptive to the clouds coming from the dominant winds.
Yes.
And the perfect place where to dig these kinds of mini wells,
yeah, like
mini
ponds, yes.
To collect waters which were transformed by plants and the rocks of the wall of the rocks.
Yeah, again, we find a water that was so good, you know, to be used to drink, you know, because it was filled with all the minerals, it was coming from the sky. And imagine that this tree in those days was really so huge that could give water from the leaves, coming down from the leaves, to the population of the whole island of El Hierro. So really an amazing thing, and it's really a pity when we think that it was destroyed by Spanish when they conquered the island.
You should imagine that there could have been also a very big pool
that's right.
here by the feet of the tree, as historical representations have drawn,
yes,
have described.
And of course you can imagine it was considered sacred, holy by people, you know, because in those days, and the people of these islands, the natives, considered everything with a spirit, you know, and so this tree giving so much water was of course holy. And this is the area of this tree that was replanted later on, just like a, you know, a memory of what this place was in the days.
This is the garrote tree, and there are a lot of diggings around here for collecting. We know it is historical. There are representation by the Spanish of this tree. And of course it was used by the Aboriginal not only to collect waters, but of course it was sacred. So you can imagine shaman rituals going on there.
Yeah, Spanish chronicles talk about these sacred places, so we know these places, this one and the other forest with the petroglyphs we have just seen, were all sacred. Yes,
especially Thanksgiving ceremonies, offerings to the tree, the spirit of the tree.
The natives had a very shamanic kind of spiritual vision, and they worshipped everything that was connected with nature.
I don't have the drawing here, the historical drawing, but all the Aboriginal people are represented praying to the tree.
And this place here in Gran Canaria, another of the 8 islands of the Canary Islands, was actually a place for rituals. So again, we find a sacred place where they carved the rock so that there were these cup marks collecting and channels collecting water, water of course when it rained, but of course it could also be used by bringing water there was no rain, or sometimes even milk. We know that milk was also used for rituals by the natives of the Canary Islands. And this way of having rituals or oracles by carving the rock in this way was quite common in ancient days. There are some very, very similar in Sardinia, for example. I have seen a very similar one in Libya during a travel that I did many years ago in the desert of Fezzan in Libya. I saw some places very similar to this one. We actually have to say that the population of the Canary Islands originally was from Africa. And so this was a different way to, another way, I want to say another way to worship water and give a special vibration.
The ritual was about filling or waiting for the pond, for the basin to be filled with rainwater, and waiting for the waters to go out from the basin, and watching what channel the water will take, what path the waters will take to fill in all the cap marks and basins. So by observing the path the waters will take of the multiple choices it could have, you could make oracles out of it, interpret these signs, divine signs that the waters were giving to the shamans in order to understand the future. That was the main oracular cults that were made here also, together with the offering.
Yes. Of course, the ones that we find in Sardinia or in the desert of Fezzan are really much, much older. We have to think that the natives of the Canary Islands lived like Neolithic time until the Spanish conquest, 15th century. They didn't have any metals, so they actually went on living like in the Neolithic time. But the ones that we find in Sardinia or in Libya are really very, very old. But I think we are running out of time again. Time passes by very, very fast.
Yeah.
And so we'll come back anyway next week if you want to follow us. Next week, Monday, same time, 9 p.m. Italian time, 8 p.m. British time. We will be back and we will go on talking about topic, I think.
Yeah.
I think we will go on talking about holy waters and healing waters.
Yeah.
And if you have any other questions, you can go on writing. You can also write privately and we will be very happy to answer. So bye for now. Have a great week and see you next Monday. See you and thanks for watching and following.